All right. I think we're going.
Right on.
There's probably, I don't know, a more professional way to start that. The weird thing is I started thinking like, okay, well, this is like part of the job now. We're gonna make some videos, which I still find to be weird. But it's tough to come on here and talk to you because we've been friends for well over 20 years now. This doesn't feel like a real formal thing. I guess I should probably introduce you though. Jared Collins of many bands, but probably most notably Mississippi Bones. How you doing, man?
Not bad. How you been?
I've been okay. We haven't talked for a couple years. We were supposed to do something together. You asked me to do a very simple thing. I completely flaked, and then basically just forgot to call back for a while. But all water under the bridge.
Yeah, life hits at you fast, so I get it.
It does, man. So what you've been up to recently is kind of the same thing we're all dealing with right now, which is this whole Corona, stay home, don't go around anybody, which is difficult, especially if you're an artist or you're a musician who's going out and playing every weekend. We've got friends of ours that have lost 100% of their income, because of this, and they're not able to go out there and do the art that they do. But you have done something completely different artistically. I think this probably hasn't affected what you do a whole lot, right? I mean, the idea of making music.
Yeah, no, I'm a studio rat for sure, like straight out. And like actually, it's kind of sucked because I'm an essential worker. My place of business didn't close, so 45 hours a week, I'm still working every day. Because I could have used a few weeks just to sit at home in the studio. I was wanting it.
I suspect if you had a couple weeks that you could sit in the home studio, there would be 4 new records out. Nobody works as quickly as you do and puts out more content.
Yeah, and straight up, it's funny that you say 4. Let me do the math in my head. 1, 2, 3, 4, because 4 is the amount of releases I have currently sitting about 90% done on my laptop. Or 5. Sorry, I forgot. Bones' new album. We accidentally wrote 2 full albums, so Bones' new album is going to be 2 albums. And then there are the other 3.
Now, you talk about Mississippi Bones, and the new record says Mississippi Bones on. It's got a couple extra names there too, which kind of hints to the fact that this is kind of a different record. How much of a Mississippi Bones that we know Mississippi Bones record is this?
This is the one we just released. I'm hesitant to say it because it was such a horrible record, but think of Lulu. It's Metallica and what's his name?
Dude, no offense, not the way to sell an album.
Right?
No, it's very much their Lulu. I think it's much better than Lulu. I'll tell you that.
Yes, but like conceptually, the way that is a Metallica record is how this is a Mississippi Bones record. It's something they did, but with someone else. So it's them, but not them.
So Scott Lawhon is he's your Lou Reed, which I think is a flattering comparison for anyone.
Well, yes. Let's just hope that the marriage was better. but yeah, like we didn't put our logo on it because it's wrong to say this is a Mississippi Bones album. We called it Mississippi Bones, Scott Lawhon, and Murr Winnery Presents because it's a Mississippi Bones, Scott Lawhon, and Murr Winnery album. Like it is us 3. It wasn't us and some friends joining us. It was us 3.
Well, here's the one way that it kind of feels like a Mississippi Bones record is the fact that it's a story. There's the through line, a concept album, if you will.
Yes.
Is that the way you prefer to write? It seems like it anyway from listening to your stuff over a couple years.
Yes, me. I like albums too, and there's some big difference between me and Dusty, as there always is. We are pretty much the opposite ends of the spectrum. Thankfully we've just learned to fill in each other's gaps more than butt heads.
For sure.
So, but for me, I miss it's something you don't get as much in the digital age. I miss back in the days where like an album felt conceptually whole from the beginning to the end. The songs, the music, the lyrics, the artwork, the all of it. I like it like a final production to feel bigger than it is. You know what I
And
mean?
and this certainly does. I mean, down to the artwork on the cover, the cover art for all your records, or at least the let's be honest, the last six, say, very very cool.
Oh, thank
And
you.
and this one is too. Who did the cover art for this? I know it could be you or Scott. You're all incredibly talented.
Yeah, this one was me. And I guess it's easiest to explain this the way it came together. After writing Radio Free Conspiracy Theory, we did that album with the help of Jonathan Rabb to make it a concept album that led up to his next book. One of he runs a publishing house called Muzzleland Press, a small press, and one of the books he released that year, having nothing to do with that album, was called Trade Your Coffin for a Gun by Mer Winery, and
Right.
it was my fifth book I read that year. And so I was already like, since Rabble Rousers, we've released an EP after an album that is tied to the album in a way, like whether just the title, it's the extra music, and then we kind of tie it in title just to keep that.
Yes,
So like
the Reject Strike Back, that kind of thing.
Rejects Strike Back, more astonishing tales. And so this one, it fell through the cracks for a while, but this one was like, well, we wrote 10 songs for Radio Free Conspiracy Theory, and that was it, which is rare for us because Dusty is prolific to say the least. So it was rare for us to be like 10 and done. And so there were no real extra songs. So it's like, well, I guess there's no EP this time. But man, I had really loved that album or that book. And it was released by the same press that released the books that Radio Free Conspiracy was tied to. And I had this vaguely Western acoustic stuff that I've been messing with and had no real direction on it at all. And I was like, and it just hit me. It's like, how awesome would it be to do a Western album? And his book is very inspired by the old Italian spaghetti westerns and Italian horror, like Four of the Apocalypse and the Witch of Fulci and Mario Bava kind of
I mean,
western
this
movies.
definitely feels like, especially the opening song, feels like Jack Palance should be being shot in the back to it. You know what I mean? It's got
Yes.
that. It's got that vibe. Certainly, it's a Western Gothic was the best I could come up with to describe it.
Yeah, and I think that's right. But really, I've just been describing it as a spaghetti western mixed with a little bit of 70s Italian horror soundtrack. That's all it is.
And there is, and I think I know a part you might be talking about because I was just out mowing the lawn. I'm listening to this for the third time, and I can't tell you any song titles. I kind of listened to it just as one piece of music, and I came across the track, and I've got new equipment, so I'm gonna try and figure out how to play this. But I want to take a listen to something. The danceability of this is something very new under the Mississippi Bones banner. We understand there are some differences here, but I love this. See if I can play it. There you get your Western Gothic kind of, thing you're looking for. It's the synth strings is what I'm looking for. I think we're coming up on it.
Yeah, I think it's right after this.
There's a Kiss Dynasty vibe to it for a moment.
It's really like if you go like, and because people have, I've heard a bunch of different thoughts on what that, like where that came from.
Yeah.
And it's been weird to hear because someone was listening to it and was like, dude, it took me straight to the 80s, like Michael Jackson. And
it's got a ghost kind of vibe to it. They get very danceable.
And it all made sense because really what I was listening to heavily other than spaghetti western soundtracks was the band Goblin, who soundtracked a lot of those horror movies in Italy from the 70s. And they're very proggy, synth, that 70s kind of.
Yeah.
I heard somebody say when that came in, it's like I was expecting Starsky and Hutch to pop out and start getting into like a 70s fight scene. But that's what they did. They soundtracked those kind of. It's that action scene from the 70s, whether you're in a Western or an action movie or. And Goblin did that. So a lot of like that's where that came from for me. But when you listen to Goblin, it takes you to so many soundtracks where you've heard Kiss or any of these myriad of other bands that you tie to, but more in a soundtrack way than just a audio way. So it really, like, all of them really make sense because 70s and 80s, like that Michael Jackson dance theme coming in during a part in a movie. It was there. It's what people did when the tension got hot.
I see. And it does work. It feels like a story. It feels like a film almost. It's kind of got that vibe to it. Where do people pick this up? I know, the first thing you tend to always do, go digital first, and then it kind of expands from there. How are people going to be able to get their hands on this right now and in the future?
Right now, you can go get it on Bandcamp, our Bandcamp page, bandcamp.com, Mr. Phones.
And incredibly affordable for, you always seem to be like a true artist in the way that, number one, you're constantly making shit. Number two, you don't seem to worry about the money part of it a whole lot. You go like, oh, here's this new thing I made. I don't know, $5? Absolutely. Yes. $5 worth every bit of $15, dude.
Yes. Well, and that's one of the things. Oh, I got a visitor.
Oh, hey, how are you? I haven't seen you since you were little.
Say hi to Jimmy. Okay, she's trying on. But yeah, one of the things.
That's the right thing there. Weird guy on the computer, run away. I get it.
One of the, anybody who's heard the history of the band, we were fortunate. Our first album wasn't supposed to be anything other than just dicking around with some free studio time. We made it. We put it up online. We made a couple grand and got to record a second and have went on with that. So we've been really appreciative of that kind of support, and the amount of support we've got has allowed us to put studios in all our own homes so we can record at home. So our overhead on albums is a lot lower.
Well, and this is, like I said, you were set up for quarantine.
Yes.
You all don't have to be in the same room really at all to get this.
Yeah, no, I don't think we've ever wrote a song with two people in a room. It's all
that's incredible.
It's all just email back and forth till songs are done. But we're really appreciative of that. So since we've been able to go ahead, we were just running as like, we don't need to make no money, just make our money back. So we priced it as that. And then as we were able to lower our overhead, it just didn't seem like we're appreciative of the support enough. It's like, why are we going to gouge people? We can still sell this for cheap. And since, we've made enough money to buy equipment to do this ourselves, we're even making more money and charging the same amount or a little less. We used to do $1 a song. Now I think we do straight $10 for an album, whatever. I don't know, $5 for an EP. But yeah, it's just, we really appreciate the support, and we're not out trying to make money. We just want to make sure we could have enough money to make the next record.
Yeah, with your physical products you do put out, you have, do you still have the deal with the German company putting out your LPs?
It's an album to album deal. So as far as our deal, it has went through because you still can afford, or you can still buy Radio Free, A Conspiracy Theory, and it's only for albums. We don't do EPs on vinyl. I know the market has been saturated in a downturn for COVID, so we got our new album, Wise Words from the Uninformed, coming out this summer. It's being mixed right now. I can't say whether that is on vinyl or not. We have, even though we're not increasing prices of stuff, we have been fortunate for steady growth. So we are getting in the area where looking at self-financing vinyl is now.
Maybe I should take it back where I went like, Jerry's just an art guy. He doesn't pay attention. And you're going, well, continued growth has been really great. Now, right. If you look at my chart over here, it says that we should be Metallica in 3 years.
And you get the generic from me because honestly, Dusty handles all the business. Yeah. And he's good at it.
He's the learned man.
I can give you a straight run through of the business because he's broke it down for me. So it all sounds very un-Jared because it's not my words. Someone else told me what's going on.
You're just going.
Because I'm like it's like get to the point. He's like, well, we got enough extra money. We might, if they don't pick up the next one because of things, we might be able to put it out on vinyl ourselves. Awesome. That's all I needed to hear. And then, and just like me, it's like, well, will we make our money back? And I was like, I don't give a fuck. Can we afford it? Oh wait, man.
The everything you have put out, all the vinyl, especially with the limited edition colors and the great artwork in that really big format, always looks cool. The even the artwork for the EPs, I just kind of sit around sometime, no joke, dude, and just kind of look at them. And you've been very kind to include me in some of those liner notes there, and I go back and I go, me and Jerry, been friends for a long time, man. I'm very excited about this. Folks can pick it up at bandcamp.com/MississippiBones. I hope that's right. I don't know. I took a stab in the dark at that one.
Yes. Or, well, you can at least, I don't know either.
Search for Mississippi Bones on Bandcamp.
Bones in, you'll find it. Also, another note on that, just to be real quick. The download does come with EPUB, PDF, or some kind of other digital version of the book it was wrote off of, Trade Your Coffin for a Gun. That comes in for free with the $5, so that's added in. And
so a book and a record for $5.
It's a brilliant novel. It's a full-length novel, and it is fantastic and gives you the concept of where we're coming from. So that comes with it automatically.
Well, the new record is called The Witch of Fulci Holler, and the band, of course, Mississippi Bones. Scott Lawhon, part of this as well, who's a great guitarist and interesting dude and a great artist as well. Jared, man, I appreciate you doing this. I hope folks go over there and check out that record, and we should do this more often for sure.
Yeah, absolutely, we should. I miss you.
All right, you too, brother. Be good.